Bonjour à tous. Bonjour, bonjour. J'espère que vous allez bien. Incroyable. On va jouer à The Stanley Parable. Parable. Voilà. En fait, c'est un jeu. C'est Bloodjack. Il m'a dit, tu mets, et puis tu te renseignes pas sur le jeu. Tu joues, c'est tout. Voilà. Alors on va jouer. Je suis un objet pour vous. Vous me faites faire ce que vous voulez, quoi. C'est chaud. Je suis un pantin. Allez, zou. C'est parti. Oh, bravo. Bien joué. Petite fenêtre, là. Bravo. À moi. Ah, c'est bizarre. C'est un jeu en 4 tiers. C'est bizarre, ça. C'est bizarre qu'il soit en 4 tiers, le jeu, non? Très bizarre, je dirais. Mais du coup, on va le mettre comme ça. Très, très bizarre. Voilà. Encore une fois, je montre mes talents de streamer. Oh, c'est bizarre, pourtant il est pas en 4 tiers sur mon écran. Qu'est-ce que c'est que ce bazar? C'est fou, hein. C'est fou. Du coup, on va le mettre en 4 tiers, voilà. C'est parti, enfin, on commence. Ça joue à la manette ou pas? Je sais pas. Ah si, ça joue à la manette. Option audio. On va baisser un peu tout ça. C'est parti. On joue à quoi? On ne sait pas. Incroyable. Loading. Gros jeu donc, hein. Gros loading.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Ok. Dialogue plus bruitage. Allez. Reprendre le jeu. Donc je peux avancer. J'ai des crayons. J'ai un taille-crayon électrique. On a tous essayé de mettre le doigt dans ce taille-crayon là un jour. On a tous essayé. Arrêtez de mentir. Donc voyons voir là. Bon, on va sortir. Hein. C'est parti. Je sais pas pourquoi je sens qu'il pue du cul ce jeu. Je sens que je vais me retrouver dans la merde assez rapidement.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ouais, dans la salle de réu, ouais. Attends, on va se balader avant.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Il a l'air d'avoir un ordinateur vachement plus moderne que le mien. Hein. Pourquoi ils ont tous des tailles-crayons électriques? C'est bizarre. La salle de réunion, c'est pas. Par contre, la manette, c'est pas ouf, hein. La jouabilité. C'est où la salle de réunion, wesh? On va en réunion. C'est le bordel. Je sens que ça va être un putain de labyrinthe. Je peux rentrer là? C'est fermé.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Celle de gauche. Parti. Est-ce qu'il faut que je suive le traducteur? C'est ça? Est-ce que c'est un piège? Je suis sûr que c'est un piège. C'est refermer la porte. Bien évidemment qu'elle s'est refermée la porte. Je joue à quoi là, les gars? C'est tout le monde a démissionné Simulator en fait. Je suis sûr que la fameuse salle de réu, ouais.
Yet there was not a single person here
Ah, mais
either.
il n'y a vraiment
Feeling a
personne.
wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Donc toutes les portes se ferment derrière moi, donc j'imagine que c'est par là-bas qu'il faut que j'aille. Avec le petit plan, vous savez, on voit la petite porte là-bas. C'est bien faire le petit curieux comme ça. Alors... Bon, allons voir le tronc. Allons voir le patron. Le trompa. Pour l'instant, je peux rien faire à part appuyer sur A et encore, pardon. Et encore, j'ai pas d'interaction.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Je sens l'arnaque arriver, gentiment. Alors, c'est le pire jeu du monde où en fait, t'as juste à suivre la voix off qui te dit où aller et tout faire et c'est fini. Oh, dis donc. Ah oui, on arrive chez le patron là. Là, on est chez le patron, c'est sûr. Très beau. Petit parquet, petite chaise là, petite tapisserie qui va bien. On est chez le patron. On va vivre là, nous. Bon, c'est là. Non. Même la secrétaire est partie. C'est très étrange cette histoire. Je n'aime pas du tout ce qui se passe.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Très belle cheminée, beaucoup trop large. Petit livre. Alors, voyons voir.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Oui, oui, ça va, ça va, ça va. J'arrive. Je regardais juste. Je regardais, j'observais qu'il y avait 3 verres sur la table. Ça veut dire qu'il y avait du monde il n'y a pas longtemps. Oui, j'arrive, la voix off, j'arrive. C'est quoi? Merde. C'est pas ça. Attends, je vais faire à la souris. Je peux ou pas? Ce sera plus simple. C'est quoi déjà le code? Non, je rigole, ça va. Tais-toi donc. Incroyable. Elle fait ça au hasard. C'est fou. Ah, le patron avait une salle secrète. Très secrète. Je la sens pas la suite. Pour l'ascenseur. Ah, vous aimeriez bien hein, me spoil.
He felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years
Voilà.
it had never
Oh la narration, mon gars.
This question would not go unanswered for long.
Si, ils ont bien trouvé le gars pour faire la voix off. Je trouve qu'elle va très très bien avec la narration.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Oh putain. Mind Control Facility. Je sens que le bordel va démarrer. T'as pas de taille crayon électrique ici. Bon, on va appuyer là, hein. C'est sûr. C'est là. On a gagné, on a fini le jeu, je crois. Bravo.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
J'ai pas vu quoi. Vous êtes des petits coquins, vous me faites des petites... Il y avait un truc derrière que j'ai pas vu. Ah, la porte elle est fermée maintenant. Mais la porte elle est fermée, je peux pas revenir. Ouais, sur la deuxième plateforme.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Ok, donc en fait... on peut suivre, c'est ça? Tous les employés? D'accord. À mon avis, j'ai compris le jeu.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had
Ça ne
Stanley
pouvait pas
been
l'être,
under
enfin.
someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable.
Moi, même si je suis surpris de ce que je vis là, je me demanderais pourquoi il n'y a plus d'employés en fait. Calme-toi, calme-toi, calme-toi. Tu vas trop loin la voix off.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life, for he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Ok. Voyons voir. Donc là, c'est tout offline. Je vais aller au milieu, là. Non, ça sert à rien. Où dois-je aller? Porte. Il y a des boutons. Et on va appuyer sur un bouton. Ok, il se passe rien. Il se passe rien non plus. Je vais monter, il y a un truc là-haut. Sacré Stanley. Là, il y a le bouton 4. Mais, là, c'est d'où je viens, en fait. Ah, mais il y a un gros bouton rouge, là, juste. On va essayer de cliquer dessus. Non, ça ne marche pas. Donc, ça sera peut-être après. Donc, là-bas, c'était le... Ouais, là, c'est d'où je viens, ça. Tout ça, c'est d'où je viens. Main control input. ID waiting. System power. Ah, ok, d'accord.
He knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
On éteint ou on allume? Moi, je serais pour allumer parce que je suis un con, mais... Allez. On suit le jeu. On essaye d'éteindre. J'ai gagné.
Blackness.
J'ai gagné.
And a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine. Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
En fait, c'est vrai que c'est fou. On a vraiment mis notre vie en danger en appuyant sur des boutons. Incroyable.
Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Je peux mouver. Je peux aller dehors. Est-ce que c'est vraiment dehors, là? J'ai pas l'impression, quand même. L'impression qu'on va rentrer dans l'écran. Ah non, l'écran s'est ouvert. Nous sommes dehors. Bravo.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before
Quelle belle...
This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen.
Quelle belle philosophie.
And Stanley was happy.
C'était beau, putain, ouais. Incroyable.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Je sens l'arnaque, putain de merde. Je sens l'arnaque du jeu là. Qui
When
commence.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Je vais aller à droite. Je vais aller à droite, c'est sûr. En fait, j'ai l'impression que c'est un jeu où en fait... Attends, si je réfléchis bien, j'avais... Donc là, j'avais 2 alternatives ici. Il me semble que j'en ai une autre à un autre endroit. J'ai 2 alternatives aussi, plus la 3e on-off à la fin. Donc alors attends, je vais m'imaginer. On va imaginer que le jeu c'est un jeu à plusieurs fins et qu'il faut trouver, à mon avis, la bonne alternative. Du coup, cette fois, je vais prendre à droite.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
C'est exactement la même salle. Mais en inversé. Non, pas tout à fait.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Non, mais je peux aller aussi tout droit là. Qu'est-ce qu'on a là-bas? Ah, là-bas, on récupère la salle de réunion. Là-bas, on retourne à la salle de réunion. Attends. Qu'est-ce qu'on a là? Là, on arrive dans un atelier, visiblement. Donc, attends. On va aller par là. Attends. Si on fait le choix... Oui. On va aller par là.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Oui, je suis désolé. En fait, est-ce que l'esprit du jeu... Donc si j'ai bien compris... Attendez, on va s'arrêter 2 minutes. On va essayer de faire le point. L'esprit du jeu, c'est un employé modèle qui fait des choses... qui fait tout le temps les mêmes choses depuis des années et qui, en gros, a l'impression que son esprit a été manipulé. Et est-ce que finalement, en suivant la narration, je suis pas toujours manipulé? Et du coup, il faut absolument pas suivre la narration et il faut dire systématiquement l'inverse de ce que dit la narration. Quelle belle philosophie! Mais là... Si je vais là, je vais mourir. Parce qu'ils me disent, attention, ça risque de...
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Bon, déjà là, la voix off a commencé un
This
peu...
is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Donc là, déjà, la voix off, elle commence à devenir un petit peu plus énervée avec moi. J'essaye de mémoriser ce que j'ai fait à peu près au niveau du chemin. Parce que je me dis que ça doit être un labyrinthe, quelque chose comme ça. Cette porte a fait flipper parce que c'est vraiment noir.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Quand il a out of space ce jeu là.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. Sorry, but you're in my story now.
Il a pas du tout aimé. Je l'ai un peu énervé, je crois. En fait, je me suis fait niquer au départ. Je pense que c'était pas... Fallait pas que j'aille par là. J'ai suivi le jeu de façon totalement...
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Je peux rien faire d'autre là.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry.
Il me cherche. Il va me trouver. Appuyez sur LT. Non, je vais appuyer sur RT.
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Appuyez sur A pour regarder la télé. C'est ça la télé?
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
RT. Oui, d'accord.
As he wandered through this fantasy world,
Ouais, au fur et à mesure, je reviens dans mon bureau, quoi.
possible paths and
C'est ça l'idée.
destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly?
C'est ça, je reviens dans mon bureau.
In reality,
C'était
all he's
sûr.
doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch
C'est
this.
bon, j'ai récupéré mon taille
Stand.
crayon
The
électrique,
next
moi ça me
time
va.
the screen
Je m'en fous du
asks you
reste.
to push a button, do not do it.
Mais du coup, si je le fais pas, faut que j'attende. Mais qu'est-ce que je peux faire en attendant? Tailler mon crayon? Boire un petit café? Un petit bruit de l'horloge. Un petit peu stressant. En fait, je sais même pas à quoi je joue comme jeu. En fait, je sais pas si ça va être un jeu d'aventure, si c'est juste un jeu complètement cinglé, si c'est un jeu de puzzle, si c'est un... Voilà, je ne sais pas. Je ne sais pas ce que c'est que ce jeu. Je crois que j'ai pas le choix, faut que j'appuie, hein. Parce qu'il se passe vraiment rien. En même temps, j'ai tellement envie d'appuyer. Allez, on appuie. On appuie.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button.
Veuillez mourir.
And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Mais je joue à quoi, là? Je joue à quoi? Ce jeu va me rendre dingue. Hein. C'est ce que vous vouliez, me rendre dingue, hein, bande de fumier. Hein. Je vous déteste. Allez, c'est reparti.
Decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others. So the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him.
Vous voulez me rendre fou. Chut et continue de jouer. Bah je veux bien, mais je vais aller où? Je vais à droite, je vais à gauche, et à toi, je fais quoi?
When Stanley came to a set of
Voilà,
two open
voilà,
doors,
merci.
he entered the door on his left.
Putain. Non, en fait... je reprendrais bien à droite. Là, je reprendrais bien à droite, parce que je sais qu'il y a une autre porte là-bas, où, en fait, je peux prendre à droite, commencer par ne pas suivre ses instructions, et après, dériver. Parce que je crois que si je prends à gauche... Après, je suis obligé de dérouler, en fait. J'ai pas d'autre solution que de dérouler. Ce qu'il me dit. Là, j'ai plus de possibilités, je crois. J'ai plus d'alternatives. J'ai d'autres choix, même à gauche? Bah, tant pis. On restera, parce que je pense que de toute façon, je vais revenir. Tu m'étonnes que ce soit le bordel dans l'administration, toi. Voilà, donc là on est passé là.
Wow. Yes.
Petite canette.
This room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
C'est ça, et là je peux reprendre à gauche. Parce que tout à l'heure on avait été tout droit et c'est là où ça a commencé à péter les plombs. Donc on va aller par là.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
On va passer par là. Je suis sûr que c'est un jeu qui a pas de fin.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
Merde, j'étais peut-être un peu vite là.
Oh no, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
Ce jeu me manipule totalement. Il est dans ma tête.
No, 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 not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's
Tu peux te
see.
dépêcher, s'il te plaît, Wolf.
Right,
Merci.
Left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Tu vas me refermer ça à la gueule, puis je vais aller de l'autre côté, c'est ça? Non. Il a pas une vie évidente, c'est un Stanley, hein, je vous le dis, moi.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler.
Ah bah attends,
Stanley,
je
close
me
your
retourne.
eyes.
Vas-y.
Okay. We just have to get back to Oh.
C'est bon?
Am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable.
Non, c'est bon. Vas-y, j'ai pas vu.
Time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Bravo. Donc là, on a fait... Je sens que ce jeu n'a pas de fin. N'a pas du tout de fin. C'est clair et net. Ah, je vais prendre 10 ans là avec ce stream là. Je le sens.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Oui.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had
Merci.
simply missed a memo.
Vous sentez le jeu où à un moment donné, d'ici, allez, 25 minutes, je vais tracer. Je vais tracer. Tout droit, tout le temps. Bien.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Je peux même plus trop le restart. C'est-à-dire que je peux même pas redémarrer en fait le jeu en fait là, maintenant. C'est ça? Si je redémarre le jeu, je serai forcément dans cette partie-là de l'histoire. C'est ça l'idée? Tout est ouvert. Ah oui, oh là là. Oh putain. Ah bah non, c'est vrai que c'était simple. On va tout rouvrir, bien évidemment.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can
C'est
promise
vrai.
you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Quoi? Mais attends, mais j'ai été nulle part.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Vous savez que si vous faites jouer ce jeu-là à un mec qui est un peu déséquilibré psychologiquement, je suis pas convaincu que ça se passe bien. Hein. On est reparti. On aime ça, marcher sur de la moquette. Vous voyez, déjà, je vais un tout petit peu plus vite, déjà. Vous voyez que déjà que ça commence un peu à me tendre, le jeu. Là, il n'y a plus de porte. Merci, bonsoir, putain.
I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Donc là, je retourne en arrière. Je suis sûr qu'il va refermer la porte. Je suis... le jeu qui me rend paranoïaque, tu sais. Mais là, si je reviens en arrière, j'ai pas d'autre possibilité. Il faut que je retourne à mon bureau. Je suis sûr qu'il faut que je retourne à mon bureau. Ah.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes.
Je suis jamais allé par là.
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Oh là là, l'enfer. Oh l'enfer. Ceci dit, c'est très bien fait. C'est pas mal foutu.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all.
Moi non plus.
Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win!
Merci.
Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of
Merci
hard
le jeu,
work,
merci
and
à toi.
it really paid off. So, good job.
Merci.
Oh no, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work
Moi
for that win.
aussi, j'ai vachement
Some
avancé, j'ai
people
mal aux
won
pieds
fair
et
and
tout.
square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Putain. Je suis retrouvé dans le bureau. Voilà.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Il m'a fait... Ça a déjà été fait dans un jeu vidéo. Voilà. Vous jouez à Mario Odyssey. Si vous jouez en mode enfant, et ben vous avez une ligne comme ça qui vous dit exactement où vous devez aller. Voilà. Moi, je trouve que c'est bien. C'est agréable. Au moins, c'est rassurant. Mais je suis jamais allé par là, putain. Je suis pas allé par là. C'est pas par là. Et, allô, tu m'entends? Voix off? C'est pas par là. On n'y est pas allé. L'histoire, elle est là-bas. Elle est là-bas, l'histoire. C'est là-bas qu'on faut aller. Qu'est-ce que je fais? Je suis la ligne ou pas? Incroyable. Bah, on va suivre la ligne, allez, putain. Je suis un bébé, hein. Je suis un bébé, hein. Je suis un gamin. Je peux toujours revenir en arrière ou pas? Ouais. Faut que je regarde avec quel moment...
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination?
Bah non, il n'y a pas d'histoire
even if there's
là-bas.
no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit
Putain,
of
je suis
music
le héros
to
d'un
lift the
jeu
mood.
où la voix off elle est schizophrène. J'ai quand même envie de suivre la ligne jaune. Ah mais là je vais au bureau. Là je vais au bureau direct. Là je suis l'histoire. Hein. Là je vais au bureau du patron là. On va y aller parce qu'on y va avec une musique épique. La ligne pète les plombs. Normal. Ah non, on va pas au bureau du patron, on va où là? On suit la ligne jaune. Je suis scrupuleusement la ligne jaune. Oh là, le pétage de plomb, mon gars.
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern.
J'ai l'impression qu'on est revenu au début.
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything. Wait, what? We're back at the office? No.
On est revenu.
No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? Still missing the doors. Did we make a mistake following the line? Perhaps we could have found the story on our own.
Bonsoir, oui, bienvenue sur le stream où vous venez voir une personne souffrir. Clairement souffrir. Mais putain, mais il m'emmène où il veut, là. Ah bah voilà, bah non, mais on va encore rater, là. Parce que...
Oh, no,
Ah, oui.
no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Well, I can't take this
C'est
anymore.
totalement de ta
I have
faute, la
let
voix off. Hein. Tu m'as mis une ligne,
restart.
tu vas même pas au bon endroit. Voilà, c'est clairement... Envie de pleurer.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in...
Ça va qu'on a un minimum de sens de l'orientation, parce que sinon...
Now, yes, this is exciting.
Je serais curieux de voir
Just me and Stanley forging a new
la
path,
structure de la
a
map
new story. Well, it could be anything.
en dehors du jeu. Ça va être assez rigolo, je pense.
Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Putain. Ah, j'ai tourné 4 fois hein, avant de me rendre compte. Hein. Tourner en rond, putain. Ah la vache, putain, c'est vachement bien fait. C'est vachement bien foutu. C'est vachement bien fait. Putain, c'est vachement bien fait. Franchement...
Oh no, not you again.
Ah,
Stanley,
la ligne
I'd
s'est
also like
cassée
to
la
reason
gueule.
the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it. And we should be fine.
Il me semble... C'est un jeu indé, ça, non? Il me semble, j'ai vu dans le tag. Ouais, c'est un jeu indé, hein. Franchement, c'est un jeu de ouf, hein. Pour de l'indé... En fait, j'ai du mal à croire à chaque fois qu'il faut que je suive le chemin direct. J'ai toujours l'impression qu'il va y avoir un truc dans un coin et tout, mais non, j'ai l'impression qu'en fait, il faut suivre hein, le jeu, hein, clairement.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay. So I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
J'ai pas envie de rentrer dedans.
Hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really...
En fait, j'ai l'impression que
No, it can't be.
c'est toutes les alternatives en fait.
I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle?
D'accord, ça c'est juste une alternative.
Whatever it is that made this schedule, how would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait.
Je prends ce jeu beaucoup trop au sérieux.
Some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
Ah, le jeu de dingue. Bon allez, on repart.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
J'ai l'impression qu'il est redevenu un peu calme. J'ai l'impression... Bon.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Allez, qu'est-ce qu'on fait cette fois? Est-ce qu'on prend gauche? Moi, j'irais bien faire... le chemin, le tout premier chemin qu'on a fait, et sauf qu'à la fin, on met on au lieu de mettre off pour voir ce qui se passe. Allez, on va voir. Peut-être que je vais changer d'idée au passage. Ok, donc là, hop.
Yet there was not a single
Ouais, il n'y avait
person
personne
here
ici.
either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Ok. Là, on va descendre.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked
Voilà.
upstairs to
Oui,
his
j'avais changé
office.
d'idée au moment où on allait commencer. On va descendre. On va aller voir ce qu'il y a par là.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't
Parce
found
qu'il me
the
semblait
word
que je
for
tournais en
it.
rond là.
I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid.
Tout à l'heure, j'ai tourné en rond un moment et il s'est passé un truc. Je pense que c'est quand il a...
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a
Ce jeu est dingue. Ce jeu est fou.
everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was
Ouais, il est un peu
being
malaisant le
considered
genre.
by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream.
Ouais,
How
je
could it be?
transpire à mort là.
Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself?
En fait,
Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
ce qui est rigolo avec ce jeu, c'est que
These words was quite a shock to Stanley.
je suis persuadé qu'il n'y a pas de fin. Il n'y a pas de vraie fin. Mais j'en suis même quasiment sûr. Mais il y a un truc qui pousse à vouloir trouver le bon chemin qui va t'emmener effectivement à la fin où tu auras battu la voix off. Mais je suis pas convaincu qui en fait. C'est ça qui est. Mais c'est ça en fait qui fait un peu le malaise. Parce qu'à un moment donné, tu le détestes, le gars. Tu le détestes et tu te dis ouais. À un moment donné, j'arriverai à te battre. C'est ça. Non mais franchement, c'est bien foutu. C'est très bien fait, vraiment. Très bien fait. Incroyable.
I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always
Et le
been.
gars, il prend des tons de voix de
My
ouf.
life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss, I have an office.
Je
I
suis
am
réel.
real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy.
Il y a juste un truc, parce que moi j'ai pas, ça fait quoi? Ça fait 1 heure que j'y joue. Pour ceux qui ont joué, qui ont des heures de jeu dessus, est-ce que au moment où j'ai fini le premier truc alternatif entre guillemets là où j'étais dans la grande pièce où ça s'est bloqué et que je suis revenu à mon bureau, est-ce que j'avais fait entre guillemets une des fins et je suis revenu totalement au début du jeu, ou là je suis dans la continuité de même de ce que j'ai vécu? En fait c'est ça ma question. Est-ce que dès le moment où tu commences, après il n'y a plus d'alternative, en fait c'est le jeu qui déroule comme il veut? J'avais fait une des fins, ok, donc je suis revenu au début. Ok. D'accord. Incroyable. Beaucoup trop de questions. Là, j'avais l'air d'avoir fait d'autres fins, dis donc, parce que je suis mort, hein. Quand même. Enfin, je crois. J'ose plus sortir de mon bureau, je ne veux plus. Je veux travailler. Je veux mes collègues. D'accord. Il y a des fois... Mais des fois, quand tu retournes au début, il y a des changements quand même. Oui, d'accord. Ouais, donc il se peut que quand t'aies fait une fin alternative, ça te renvoie quand même... D'accord, si tu fais des achèvements, c'est que t'as... ok, t'as fait une fin. Ok. Bravo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Est-ce que du coup je fais ce que j'avais prévu le premier coup? Oui. Allez. C'est parti. Bravo. Yet there was not a single person here either. Incroyable. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Moi je me suis dit que le jeu commençait à partir aux couilles le moment où j'ai vu des tasses dans les tiroirs. Là je me suis dit là ça va trop loin. Ça va trop long, on range pas des tasses dans des tiroirs d'archives. Allez, on monte. Parce qu'en bas, on a vu ce que ça donnait. Merci. Hein. Merci beaucoup. Ça aurait pu me dire non, pas en bas. Hein. Vous savez, tous étaient en bas au moins une fois. Est-ce que vous avez vu toutes les fins du jeu, vous pensez, ou est-ce que je peux vous surprendre? Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk.
What could its purpose be?
C'était quoi le 2845?
This
Ouais,
keypad
c'est ça.
guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin. Stanley
Incroyable.
was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Putain, on n'a pas eu ça tout à l'heure. Ouais, on n'a pas eu ça tout à l'heure. Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé?
Stanley calmly walked forward
On a eu ça tout
into
à
the
l'heure?
opened passageway.
Je me rappelle plus. Putain, même ça, ça joue. Le fait de taper le code avant. Oh. Putain, les mecs, ils ont dû galérer à coder ça, mon gars. Codage de dingue.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
C'est ça que j'ai pas vu au premier coup. C'était pour s'échapper. Allez, on va à gauche. Je vais pas. Je pensais pas encore changer de chemin. Et j'ai encore changé de chemin. Oh, j'ai l'impression que ce chemin va être très très long. On n'y va pas le bout. Non, on va tout droit. Nous aimons l'aventure. Nous sommes intrépides.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his
Je vais tout droit vers la mort. Ah oui, c'est vrai que ça ressemble à la mort. On saute. Ah. Je suis sûr que je... Ah non.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched,
Je vais pleurer comme un bébé bientôt, parce que j'ai peur.
he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the
Ah bah, je vais mourir là.
from a blind man.
C'est sûr.
So he resigned,
Je vais mourir.
willingly accepted
Merci à
this
tous.
violent end
Bravo.
to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Bientôt là.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated, as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Il était mort quand il a commencé à jouer. C'est vachement bien foutu. C'est très très chouette. Feeling Cabinet. C'est très très bien fait comme jeu. Voilà. Si ce sont les mecs qui ont fait ce jeu-là, bravo, parce que franchement, c'est vraiment très très chouette. C'est plutôt bien foutu, bien pensé. On peut rien faire avec les portes, j'imagine, ouais. Donc ça, c'est le musée, en fait, Stanley. Hein. Ça, je l'ai pas vu, ça. Ça, je l'ai pas vu. La zone de guerre. Ah, fait chier, j'espère qu'il n'y a pas des trucs qui vont être... Parce que là, en fait, je peux plus rien faire. Là, j'ai pas moyen de... Parce que ça fait chier, j'aurais pas me spoil des trucs. Des trucs que j'ai pas vus. Il va voir que ça pourra me donner des indices pour la suite. Ça m'intéresse, ça. Ouais, il y a des trucs que j'ai pas vus, je crois, encore. Recommencer à nouveau. Allez, c'est parti. Une petite dernière, allez, une petite dernière. Donc la petite dernière, j'essaierai pour la petite dernière, j'irai bien au bout et j'appuierai sur on au lieu de off. C'est parti. M'en fous. Je t'écoute plus, blablabla, blablabla. Tiens, on va essayer comme ça aussi, en l'écoutant pas du tout, en avançant à fond. Je suis sûr que vous l'avez déjà fait, mais regarde.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
On ponce le jeu là. C'est parti.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Pète les plombs. Putain, j'ai le truc qui s'affiche pas. Voilà. Il s'affiche pas la petite icône. Bah. J'arrive pas à afficher l'icône. C'est déjà ouvert? Ah, merci. Ah oui. Ouais, en fait, il a compris que j'avais déjà fait, quoi. Ok. Oh, le jeu. Le jeu de ouf. Le jeu de dingue. Vous voulez ma mort, c'est sûr. Ça se trouve, ça a encore changé, hein. Je marche tout droit. Cette fois, j'y vais.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
On avance, c'est parti. On appuie sur les cams.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers. The lives
J'avais
of
pas
so
fait gaffe au
many
premier coup, il y a un mec qui est viré.
individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Petit lagage là. Il y en a qui sont virés. Allez, on est reparti.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he
Mais
was
il existe
happy
une
with
fin où
his
vous
own
gagnez
thought
vraiment
that his
contre le
emotions had been
narrateur ou pas?
manipulated to accept it
Ou
blindly?
non, en fait, quoi qu'il arrive, ça recommence.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Voilà.
But here was the proof.
Oui, c'est vrai, qu'est-ce
The
qu'une
heart
fin
of the
finalement? Non,
operation.
mais une fin où t'as l'impression d'avoir
Controls
gagné,
enabled
quoi.
his
Parce que depuis
emotions,
tout à l'heure, j'ai l'impression de
happy
perdre.
or sad,
C'est-
or content, walking, eating, working, all of it
Les
monitored and
boutons, là.
commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began
ces
to sink
boutons,
in,
là.
Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once
On va mettre
and
off.
for all.
Pas l'impression que ça fasse quelque chose, ça. Allez, on y va. Et cette fois, on fait on. Ouais, j'avais mis off, ouais, au début.
Source of the room's power. He knew it. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go
Le jeu
and
se
you
finit
try
quand
to
tu éteins
take
ton
control of
arme.
the
Ouais, j'ai
machine
l'impression,
for
ouais.
yourself. Is that what you wanted?
Aïe, aïe, aïe.
Control?
J'aurais pas dû faire ça.
I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I
ouais,
had in
mais de toute façon,
mind.
je sais pas
What
où
a
faut que
shame
j'aille,
we have
donc.
so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going.
Ah, super, go, go,
What
go,
all
mais
this
où?
means, I barely know where
Là,
to
ok.
start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other
Il y a une
times,
porte là
I
ou
let the
pas?
office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness.
30
only
secondes,
34
je vais mourir,
seconds
merci.
left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the
Est-ce qu'il
matter,
m'a ouvert une autre
Stanley?
porte vu qu'il m'a remis
Is it that
du...
you have no idea where you're
du temps.
going
Sinon,
or
j'appuierais
what
bien
you're
sur
supposed to be
off.
doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer
On a
that
ouvert la porte
something
ou pas?
in this room was capable of
Non,
turning
tout
it
est
on?
fermé. Hein.
I mean, look at you.
C'est mort.
Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will
Non, je peux
save
pas
me.
appuyer dessus.
Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is?
Ma manette vibre.
Stanley,
Pour donner un petit
you're in for
côté.
quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to
quoi
watch
ces
you for
boutons?
every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you...
Oui, d'accord, oui.
Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No end.
Ah bah là, ça tremble de
Just
partout,
you
les
being
gars.
blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice.
Je panique totalement là. Je suis en total full
It's all the
panique.
same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the
Un,
moment I say
0.
happy erupt.
Merci, au revoir. Il est... Putain, ma manette n'arrête pas de vibrer. Elle arrête. On est mort. Et nous revoilà. Dans le... Ah putain.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
J'ai
Stanley decided to go
retopé
to
une
the
autre...
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Je suis reparti dans une nouvelle boucle en fait là. Non, d'habitude ça commence pas comme ça. On est d'accord, d'habitude ça commence pas comme ça.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the
On s'en fout,
employee
on y va.
lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it about this room?
Mais j'ai l'impression que ouais, je suis dans un truc alternatif là parce que c'est pas comme d'habitude.
To get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Donc jusqu'à la plateforme. Ok.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired
Tout
years
droit.
ago.
Ok. Va jusqu'à la plateforme et tombe sur le chemin en bas. Je peux tomber là? Si je vais tout droit, je tombe et je meurs pas. Ok.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Bah ça, je l'avais déjà fait ça. Attends, on va recommencer. Je pensais qu'il voulait que tu... Enfin, tu voulais que je me jette dans le vide en fait.
Stanley decided to go to the
Autant pour
meeting
moi.
room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Mais je peux pas sauter. Il y a un bouton pour sauter, je peux pas.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he
Attends,
wanted to
monte sur la
stop by the
plateforme,
employee
elle va
lounge
monter
first, just to
et
admire
bouger.
it.
Ensuite saute. Là, je me laisse tomber, ok.
Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley, for the first but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Incroyable. Donc là, si je comprends bien ce que tu veux que je
Stanley was so bad
fasse...
at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Merde, pardon. C'est là, donc si tu veux que je fasse... Monte sur la plateforme, elle va monter et bouger, ensuite saute. Donc en fait, quand elle va bouger, je vais dessus et après je saute. Parce qu'elle elle m'emmène où en fait? Sinon, je sais plus elle m'emmène sinon. Parce que là... Ah. Ok, j'ai compris. Ok. D'accord. En fait, je me rappelais plus où elle m'emmenait en fait, c'est pour ça. Je pensais pas qu'elle m'emmenait tout en haut. Ok. Il est pas content le narrateur là. Pète les plombs le gars. Je crois qu'il va pas me kiffer là. Je crois qu'il va essayer de me casser la gueule bientôt.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Traversa la porte rouge, bien évident qu'on va prendre la bleue.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
On va prendre la bleue. Je peux faire ça des heures.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
On va prendre la bleue quand même. Heureusement je me suis retourné, je l'avais pas vu. On va prendre la bleue.
All right,
Il nous déteste.
Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Incroyable. Ce jeu est dingue. Ce jeu est totalement dingue.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
On va faire la moyenne.
Oh, of course. A 3. Really? Maybe next time we can get you to form an actual opinion, you know? Any level of critical thinking or engagement with your surroundings. Does that sound good? Think we can do that? Yes? Wonderful. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Le jeu pète les plombs. Le jeu pète totalement les plombs.
Would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience. You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do.
C'était pour te contrarier.
I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes. This seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Oh putain. Oh
Well,
putain.
Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired.
Oh, le
a
bordel.
game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you.
En fait, la voix off, elle est totalement sortie de son truc. Le narrateur est totalement sorti de son truc, il en peut plus. Il est au bout de sa vie. En la rupture.
This will go here, no, here, and then. Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course, and just to finish it all off, yes. It's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy.
Je suis content parce que pour une fois, c'est lui qui pète les plombs et pas moi. C'est lui qui est en train de passer un très mauvais moment. Moi, ça me plaît.
Please step inside and make yourself comfortable. Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining. Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
De toute façon, je peux pas sauter, donc je vais descendre. On va suivre la lumière, petite lumière comme ça. Je suis dans Minecraft, quoi.
No. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
Putain. Le jeu, il en a ras le cul. Il me déteste.
Yes, I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Vous savez quoi, ce jeu, je vais y jouer même en hors stream, en fait. Parce que je le trouve assez ouf, en fait. Assez dingue. Il est complètement barjot.
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
Incroyable. suis trop fort. Du génie. Merci. Merci à toi. Putain, il y a une autre version qui va sortir de ce jeu, mais ils sont cinglés. Et je suis sûr qu'en plus de travailler sur ce genre de jeu, c'est pas bien. Psychologiquement, c'est pas bien. Je pense que ça va être très compliqué. J'aille par où? Cette phrase qui veut rien dire. Il faut que j'aille par où? Merde, je suis tombé. Ah, non mais c'est par là. Il a totalement arrêté de me parler, le narrateur, il en avait marre. Il est à la rupture, le gars. On voit super bien le jeu, là. Putain, je vois rien. J'ai où? Je suis perdu ou quoi? Ou c'est mort? C'est fini. Je peux plus aller plus loin. Attends, on est arrivé là, on a fait ça. Et du coup après c'est qu'une succession de pièces qui visiblement arrivent les uns avec les autres. C'est d'aller par là. Voilà. Allons vers la lumière. Oh, je retourne à mon bureau. Incroyable. Incroyable. Y'a rien là? Je peux rien faire. Faut restart. Ouais, je suis essayé, c'est fini en fait. C'est fini, incroyable, 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 incroyable. Ce jeu est fou. Ce jeu est un jeu de dingue. J'ai adoré. Merci en tout cas de l'avoir proposé. Très bien, j'ai adoré. Franchement, c'est. Alors à mon avis, ça va pas plaire à tout le monde par contre, parce que c'est vraiment, vraiment perché. C'est pas vraiment un jeu en vrai, parce que t'as pas grand chose à faire finalement. Mais moi j'adore. L'idée, elle est totalement out of space quoi. Et c'est vrai qu'en fait c'est dingue comment au tout départ, ou alors je sais pas, c'est peut-être mon esprit qui est comme ça à moi, mais au départ en fait tu suis le narrateur le premier coup exactement comme il faut, parce que je pense que t'adhères un peu à l'esprit, enfin à l'idée que c'est entre guillemets le tuto du jeu. Donc du coup forcément tu fais exactement ce que dit la narration. Et c'est qu'après tu te dis ouais putain en fait il y a peut-être moyen d'avoir des alternatives. En fait le jeu il arrive à être dans ta tête en vrai. Il arrive à construire dans ta tête quelque chose. C'est vraiment 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 bien foutu. Et si effectivement il y a une autre version qui sort bientôt, il faudra la tester parce que c'est vraiment dingue. C'est vraiment dingue. Incroyable. Bon bah écoutez, j'espère en tout cas que ça vous a plu ce Stanley Parable. Et franchement, réellement, je le testerai directement. Voilà, et puis pour effectivement me voir galérer, parce que vous aimez bien me voir galérer. Je vous souhaite une bonne après-midi à tous, ou une bonne soirée, ou une bonne nuit. Ah, ça dépend à quelle heure vous regardez le stream, et à bientôt. Ciao, ciao.